What's up, guys? What a crazy day, huh? I was gonna go over some of the trades and just kind of the day's action. Oh man, it was pretty wild, kind of up and down. To be expected though, with the area that we're in. So let's go over ES real quick. Just kind of what I saw pre-market and kind of what I gave out, kind of my pre-market plan that I was telling everybody. So we had finally sold off. If we go to the daily, ignore this day, but we had finally bounced on the day. This was yesterday where we finally bounced. We hit the trend line, rejected it, bounced up perfectly. That was a really nice move, but the volume was lower. But we knew that this whole area was kind of a chop zone, anywhere from 3,900 to about 4,000. So that's kind of our chop zone, going down to like the 1 hour. So we were making lower highs and lower lows until yesterday. We finally made our first higher high and we broke this trend line. So that was the first sign of buyers that were stepping in. So we are definitely looking for maybe some possible longs today, to go, to kind of keep up this buying that we saw the previous day. Also, there was this little smaller support and resistance line. I had a more major one up here at 4,000 and then one down here like 39.13. But 39.60 was a really big level. As you can see, we bounced off it twice here, held here for the entire overnight, bounced here. So that was kind of our level we were looking at. And then on the 15-minute, we did have some zones down here, like a 30-minute down here and a 15 here. So looking for possible pullbacks to reject on the opposite side of the trend line. Since we broke it, now we're going to come back, test it, and bounce. We go to NQ. It was basically the exact same setup. Finally made higher highs after we were making these lower highs all last week or the last 2 weeks, and lower lows. So now we put in higher high, and we were looking for a higher low also to be put in and possibly reject off of these 15-minute areas or 30-minute demand zones. So Papa Powell was talking right before the market opened. Let me go to replay mode. Full transparency, I did not catch this move off the open, even though it was literally my game plan. So I did not execute today. Let me show you my pre-market plan that I sent out. I said daily, we're testing the uptrend that we had come into contact with. So we broke this trend line. Now we're testing it to the upside. But I did note that here we were putting in higher highs. Now a higher high and looking for a higher low. This mini downtrend line formed over the past week was broken on ES and NQ, currently holding above it. I would like to see a higher low put in and buyers to defend the buying from yesterday at some newly formed demand zones. We formed smaller demand zones at 12.175, 12.135. These would be ideal places to look for a bounce today if we do dip down. Otherwise, we have tough supply above at 12.364. This area is validated with a volume node and the other side of the trend line on NQ that was broken. So we were looking for bounces at 12.175 or 12.134. So let's see how the day played out. Literally, morning move. Oh my gosh, what do we hit? 12.135, 12.134 demand, and we rocketed. Now, I did not catch this early enough. I also was on voice chat. I got a little distracted talking to some people. So that's my fault, for not executing the plan that I laid out. But I did have patience and I didn't chase the move. So that was the good part of it. But we literally hit these zones I called out in the pre-market. Definitely should have scaled in a little bit or even had a buy down here and then scaled in once we started pumping, or even got in, once the 15-minute started going green on the day. I think that would have been a great entry right here at 12.175 with a stop under the low. We got our push up into our key level at 12.250. This was a big level we were looking for. This was another level that held support, resistance, support, 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 resistance, 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 support, support, and then now we're just kind of chopping around on it. So didn't get along here. Did have some members go long on this candle, which was a perfect retest down here, low volume retest off of the key level. Great entry. If you got long there with a stop under the low, would have been money. I know a few people caught it, so awesome job. And then we were pretty much off to the races. We finally broke above 251. We did close this candle a little more than half the body, or a little more than half of the candle was body and some wicks. That's to be expected, but the good news is we were able to close at the high of the previous candle, so that did show strength. And since the volume was low, I would not see this as a rejection that could possibly fall down. So next we got our move up, lower volume still, but a great move into supply above. But if you're going by the scale out method that I teach, you would still be in. So if you got in here, even if you got 12 212 all the way up to 12 312, so 100 points in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Another push up, low volume, you're still in it. There's no signs of sellers, no sign to get out. And then you finally got up here. This volume was equal to the previous one, and you'll see on ES, if you look at the candle at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, ES did have a spike on this candle right here. So this was hitting our 2.5 hours supply above, as well as this trend line that we had broken previously, and now we're retesting on the bottom side. So that would have been your scale out. So that would have been locking in 370 minus 212, a little over 150 points. Pretty clean. I totally missed that. So lesson learned. I don't know if I'll be going on voice chat again. Maybe if it's just me, so I can kind of talk through what I'm seeing, but I did get a little distracted. But overall, it was definitely fun. So super awesome trade right there. Killed it. And then we did break the high of yesterday as well. We did get some sellers coming in here on high volume, so this wasn't at the very peak. So I was definitely looking to go long again after we pulled back, just due to there not being a volume spike at the top. But we didn't get that, and then we started coming down here, and then we had news. Holy shit. Massive volume, huge dump. I actually got in short around 12,250 after I saw just the massive volume coming in, the massive momentum coming in. And so I shorted around 12,250 because that was a key level and I was expecting it to break. So definitely caught about 100 points off of that. Problem is, I was looking for more follow through. So we got to kind of this lower like day right here, like the low of the day. I was looking for at least the low of the day, maybe a little bit to break. And so I actually didn't scale out. That was my fault. I definitely should take 100 points when I get it, or at least scale out some. So that's my bad. But overall, that was a very nice trade if you got it as well. And then we did have some members that also took this long, on the bounce. So that was a great trade. But overall, it was very choppy today. We did have the slow run up and then the massive dump. Sellers are pretty strong in this. It seems like they kind of let the buyers kind of creep up and then they just fucking dump it on them. So just beware of that. But overall, very choppy on the day. We're in this major chop zone. You can see we chop at this level, then we dip down and chop under here. Then we dip up, chop up here, chop down here. Dip, go up, and now we're kind of held up here, chopped down, chopped up, and now we were just chopping around this key level. So I did see this, kind of a low volume pullback, and I thought this was going to be a short. Turns out it wasn't, so I went short here, thinking we were breaking down again due to this huge red candle, and this would get like a second leg. Like this was kind of like a pullback almost. That was not the case. Once I saw us reversing up, I flipped my position and went long, and I caught some points here for, like $700, $600. It wasn't a lot, but I was a little frustrated with my execution on the day because I thought this was a really good trade right here. And if I go to ES, I'll show you the confluences it had as well, where I should have gotten out here. But yeah, I took that long, and then the rest of the day kind of just flagged and chopped around. I wasn't at my screens for it, so glad I didn't stick around to trade it. tomorrow's a better day. But ES was really great because so you get the run up and the drop. Oh. So you get the run up, right? Oh, this is the 30-minute. Same thing. We got the run up, low volume pullback here. Great place to get long with your stop under the low. Rock it up. Here's that volume spike at the very high and at my key level of 4,009. So that hit perfectly. You can see here support, resistance, 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 and now resistance again. So I had that key level. Awesome, awesome trade if you caught that. And the downside. So we did break out of this downtrend, right? We came back, tested it, again. So that should have been, and this aligned with the 3960 key level that we were watching. So that definitely should have told me to exit some of my short that I took on NQ. I definitely was being a little greedy, but I've been trying to work on holding my winners for much bigger trades and cutting my losers short. So little execution error on my end. Still ended green, just not as big as I could have been or should have been. And then also I did take a play on oil. We were hitting so oil's been just getting rocked lately, just straight down. I need to actually chart more levels down here. I don't even have levels charted for how low oil's going. But yeah, we sold off pretty big over the past week or so. And then we formed this 45-minute demand zone. And so oil data came out today an hour after market open. And we got this candle right after oil came out. So to me, this was an awesome long. I think that's a great long signal. Volume's really high. And it's a hammer at demand and at this like wedge support type thing. So we have this guy. So I had this kind of right here, looking for support bounce. So I thought this was a great trade. Thought we had like a double bottom. We broke the neckline right here. And now we were going to make a move up, maybe into this area. So I went long here, and it really didn't do much. We shot up. I mean, it took us about 30 minutes to even break this high. And then this high couldn't even hold. So I ended up going long here. I didn't scale out here. Maybe should have. But to me, I'm definitely holding for more than, just less than $1 move. That's not really what I'm looking for on oil. But we were in supply, so maybe I could have scaled out a little early, but take what we can get. So after this candle rejected on higher volume, I closed it here. I actually held a little bit longer, and then it came back close to my break-even price, so I just got out. So those are the trades I took on the day. Not a big winning day. Definitely could have been had I taken that long in the morning, but and stuck to my plan. But it's kind of something I want to emphasize is know your plan and then execute it. Execution in trading is like the name of the game. It's hard to execute what you plan because in the moment your emotions are going, prices, jumping all around, all that stuff. So if you do write out a plan, which I recommend you really should, try and stick to it, because lots of times when you're charting in the pre-market, your mind is clear. You're not having the stress of price moving around. You're not, you don't have money on the line. It's kind of like when you chart at night. You can see the zones really clear. You can see possibly where it's going to bounce. Your mind is free and clear of everything. Whereas during the day, in the moment, you can get a little hectic. You can start thinking like, oh, well, what if this doesn't work? Blah, blah, blah. And you can start being more impulsive. So I would say try and stick to your plan. That's me talking to myself as well. And if you do, more often than not, it's going to work out. And if it doesn't, you have a tight stop, you're good. So that's my 2 cents on the day. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and let's keep killing it.